Award-winning writer Susan Muaddi Darraj is passionate about making sure children of all backgrounds can see themselves in the books they read. Her new chapter book series launches soon. Its female heroine is a Palestinian-American child. Here to tell us more is the author herself, Susan Muaddi Darraj, writer and associate professor of English at Harford Community College. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Author, congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
So before we talk about your very exciting book project right now, let's talk a little bit about your background, how you came here to Harford County, and some of the things you've done.
Oh, sure. Well, I was born and raised in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. And I moved to Baltimore in 2001, and I've been a professor at Harford Community College since 2004. I love it. I have great students, great colleagues, so I've been here for quite some time. Mm-hmm. And I began writing when I was very, very young. So I've always kind of been nurturing a writing career along with a teaching career.
Okay, and then, I mean, usually writers have specialties. Mm-hmm. So have you always been interested in children's books, or is this a new venture for you?
I've always written fiction, literary fiction. I've tried poetry. I'm quite terrible at poetry, so I've been told, and I accept it. Children's literature is something new for me. I've always obviously read children's literature. I have 3 children. I read to them quite a bit, and they read a lot. I began writing this book, this series, Farah Rocks, because my daughter mentioned to me once that she would like to see a book with an Arab American or a Palestinian American girl in it. She hadn't seen any. And it made me think that when I was growing up in the States, I also never saw myself in books. And so I decided to try to write one for her.
And that's right. And we're actually looking at the book's cover. It kind of looks like you, Susan.
Oh. Big black hair. Right.
So why do you think it's important that children be able to relate so directly to a book and see themselves in that book?
Well, I mean, I just have my own personal experience. You know, my favorite book growing up was Anne of Green Gables.
Oh, sure.
My favorite book of all time. Yeah. I love Anne. She's a great character. I loved reading the Nancy Drew mysteries, the Hardy Boys mysteries. So obviously you can enjoy other books that, you know, don't reflect maybe your life or your culture. Mm-hmm. That's part of living in America, right? But I think at some point you start to feel isolated in your reading, and you start to feel that maybe your experiences are not affirmed, you know, in the literature that you read. So I think it's important for not just kids to see themselves in books, but for other kids to see kids of other cultures in their books as well.
Makes sense.
So it's a learning experience for all children.
Okay, so we've teased Farah Rocks there a little bit, so I'm really curious. Can you tell us a little bit about the books here? So it's a series of books, it's not just one.
Yes, it's a 4-book series so far. And in the very first book, you meet her. She has a younger brother who has some learning disabilities and some learning challenges. And she and her parents are very much financially on the edge. They're working class people who have some financial struggles. So I'm very clear about that. I always write about working class characters. They're very close to my heart. And in the very first book, she's dealing with a bully at school. The bully is actually bullying her little brother. And it's the kind of bully who knows how to behave in front of the adults. Oh, yes. So people don't believe
some of
Farah.
those types.
We all ran into those kinds of kids. So Farah doesn't really know how to handle the situation, and she comes up with a plan to protect her brother that involves being, you know, a little bit dishonest with her friends and teachers and her parents. So comes to a climax at the end.
All right, well, don't give that away. Okay. So you're going to have what's called a book launch. Yeah. Tell me what a book launch, how would you describe a book launch, and when is that book launch?
So my book launch for Farah is on January 11th at the Ivy Bookshop in Baltimore County, in Baltimore City, sorry, on Falls Road. Right. And at a book launch for kids, I'm going to have like some coloring pages for Farah. We're going to have some stickers and bookmarks. We're going to do some activities. In the book, Farah is a rock collector. She has a rock collection that she's very proud of. So we're going to do some rock painting. Yeah. And I'll read some excerpts from the book and talk to kids about things like bullying and how they handle bullies in school and other issues that kids deal with.
All right. Well, we have your website up so people can go online to find out more about you, but also about the book, correct?
Yes,
and the
exactly.
launch and everything.
There's some information on there.
Well, congratulations. How wonderful. And you're touching so many kids' lives in a very important way. So we thank you for being here and sharing it with us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. All right.